Imagine you're walking through a mall or scrolling an online store, and you feel that sharp little spike of desire for something you honestly don't need. In that exact moment, a voice in your head, one that sounds suspiciously like a marketing ad, whispers, "Pay it in installments. You won't even notice it." That's the seduction of painless consumption. The idea that you can have the future today without paying the full price. But the reality is much darker. For most people, debt isn't a financial tool. It's an energy transfer. You're handing over your mornings, your evenings, and your mental peace for the next 5 years to an entity that sees you as a spreadsheet. The people who make the 6 mistakes we're going to dissect today are building their own golden prison, brick by brick, while convincing themselves they're just living life. If you want to stop being a tenant of your own paycheck and start becoming the owner, pay attention, because freedom isn't bought with a credit card. The minimum payment trap and the illusion of the monthly fee. The first mistake, maybe the most cynical of all, is minimum payment blindness. This is the financial system's favorite trick, turning a mountain of debt into a gentle hill of monthly payments that feel manageable. Your bank tells you you only have to pay €40 a month for that €2,000 purchase. Your brain, always hunting for instant gratification, interprets it as a win. It's basically free. What they don't tell you, or what they hide in print so small you'd need a microscope, is that with that minimum payment, you're barely covering interest and a ridiculous fraction of the principal. You're walking into a scheme of permanent debt. It's the financial equivalent of trying to empty the ocean with a thimble while the faucet is still running. The people who never escape debt are the ones who treat the minimum payment like a subscription to their lifestyle, without realizing they'll end up paying for that TV or that trip 3 or 4 times its real value. Compound interest is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It either works for you or it devours you alive. And if you only pay the minimum, you're on the menu. 2. Confusing ability to pay with ability to afford. This is financial imposter syndrome taken to the extreme. In a world obsessed with appearances, we've normalized using credit to buy objects that impress people we don't even like. It's the fundamental mistake of believing that if the monthly payment for a luxury car fits inside your paycheck, then you can afford that car. The truth is brutal. If you have to finance a consumer item that depreciates, clothes, a phone, a vehicle, you can't afford it. Period. Real wealth buys assets that put money into your pocket. A life headed toward suffocation buys liabilities that look like assets just to feed the ego. Every time you swipe your card for a luxury dinner or a shiny gadget because you deserve it, you're stealing freedom from your future self. You're trading months of your life for a dopamine hit that lasts until the next statement arrives. People who stay stuck prefer looking rich today over being rich tomorrow. 3. Consolidating debt without performing surgery on your habits. This mistake is dangerous because it disguises itself as a smart move. It's the classic, I'll take out a personal loan to pay off all my credit cards and then I'll have one lower payment. On paper, the math looks perfect. In practice, it's the beginning of a bigger disaster. Debt isn't the real problem. It's just the symptom of emotional mismanagement. When you consolidate, you feel instant relief. Your cards are back to zero and your cash flow looks better. But if you haven't changed the mindset that got you into debt in the first place, what happens in most cases is that a few months later, you use the cards again because now you have room. So you end up with the consolidation loan and the credit cards maxed out again. You tried to fix the problem with a patch and doubled it. People who actually get out of debt don't look for magical solutions at the bank. They create a radical change in their kitchen, their budget, and their priorities. If you don't change the hand that spends, it doesn't matter how many times you change the creditor's name. 4. Attacking debt without a protective shield. This is where conventional logic breaks. Many people decide to throw every last cent they have at the debt, leaving their bank account at zero to save interest. They feel proud until life throws one of its famous curveballs. The car breaks down, the boiler dies, or a medical emergency shows up. And because they saved nothing, because they burned it all on the debt, what do they turn to? Exactly. Debt again. It's the yo-yo effect. They never leave the cycle because every unexpected expense drags them back to the starting line. People who actually reach independence understand they need a wall of protection, a small emergency fund, before launching the full attack on the bank. That cash cushion is what breaks the dependence. Without it, you're one bad piece of news away from being a slave again. Peace of mind has a price, and it's built with savings, not just payments. 5. Prioritizing cheap debt over dangerous debt. There's a tendency to want to eliminate first the debts that are smaller or the ones that annoy us visually, while ignoring the real cost of money. A lot of people keep paying the minimum on a credit card at 20% interest while aggressively paying down a mortgage or a loan at 3%. That's a basic math mistake powered by disorganization. Not all debt is the same. Some debts are wildfires, others are just candles. If you don't put out the wildfire first, high interest, then the fire will consume all your effort. People who stay in debt usually don't have a clear map. They don't know exactly how much they owe or at what price. They live in voluntary ignorance because facing reality hurts. But the pain of looking at the numbers today is the only anesthesia against the pain of poverty tomorrow. If you don't know what your debt costs you, the bank already won. 6. Treating saving as a luxury for later. This is the final nail in the financial coffin. It's the mindset of, once I finish paying off debt, then I'll start saving. It sounds responsible, but it's a deadly trap. Life doesn't pause while you pay your bills. If you wait until you're debt-free to save, you'll never do it, because there will always be another payment or another need created by marketing. Saving has to be a parallel habit, not a distant destination. The people who escape the maze are the ones who decide to pay themselves first, even if it's a small amount, before paying the bank. That saving habit creates powerful psychological inertia. It turns you from a debtor into a capital builder. It changes your identity. If you see saving as something you'll do someday, that day never arrives because the system is designed to make sure there's always something else to pay. In the end, getting out of debt isn't a math challenge. It's a character challenge. It's deciding your peace of mind is worth more than that new car, your free time is worth more than that designer watch, and your future matters more than your neighbor's opinions. The people who stay trapped forever aren't always the ones who earn the least. They're the ones who can't say no to impulses in a system designed to squeeze them. Financial freedom doesn't start when you finish paying. It starts the day you decide you will never borrow again to look like you're living a life you haven't earned yet. Don't become another statistic in the profit reports of credit companies. Identify these mistakes, cut the habits that keep you chained, and start building your own wealth. Money is an excellent servant, but a terrible master. Make sure you're on the right side of the chain. And if this breakdown made you rethink that next purchase or that monthly payment you considered normal, don't stop here. Start today by sketching your escape plan. Share this with someone who's struggling to make it to the end of the month. You could be the spark they need to change their life. Take control, break the chains, and I'll see you on the road to real freedom. See you next time.